All right. Good morning, Brittany. How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing pretty well. I appreciate you taking some time to do the interview, and we'll try not to make it go too long. But you feel free to be as long-winded as you need to get your points across. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
I can do that.
Good. Let's start out with. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, your family, how you guys got into Amazon?
Yeah. So our story starts, it's Mike and me doing this husband and wife team. And it started in 2002 with Mike just selling a few things on eBay. He happened to walk into an auction, found something that looked like junk to me. He brought it home and he sold it. And I think he made like $30. And then it just progressed from there. He's always been an entrepreneur. I'm a great employee. He's always been an entrepreneur, selling candy and pencils in fifth grade. So it started on eBay, and then he made that go full time. He had a job that laid him off, and he decided, you know what, now's the time. I'm going to make a go of it. We had roommates that helped pay for the mortgage. You know, I was 22, and he was like 26. Our dining room was lined with shelves where he'd bring all this just junk. It all just looked like dirty old junk. And then, you know, he had a little office off the living room, and he did that for years. And it took a long time for him to really build it to where he was making money. I worked many jobs that paid very well, a lot of management positions that, you know, good sales bonuses and things like that. We'd take my bonus and throw it into the business and just build it and build it. And then around 2010-ish is when he was really making a decent living. Like for Ohio, obviously in Ohio, cost of living's low, but he was making good money. And he found Amazon. It was all through like a Skip McGrath newsletter. He found Jim Cockrum's coaching and the Proven Amazon course, and then Chris Green's retail arbitrage book. And so he just started diving into all this material. And I'll never forget, I'm driving home from the bank one day, and he tells me, I'm going to sell products on Amazon. I'm like, okay, whatever. You sell products on eBay, but sure, whatever. And he's like, well, you go into Walmart and you buy them, and then you sell them on Amazon for more money. And I'm like, that's stupid. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. And he's like, well, I'm going to sign up for this coaching program. And I'm like, they're going to take your money. They're not going to give you any, I just thought it was a scam. Mm-hmm. But he ended up signing up for the coaching, and that gave him kind of the fast track. Coaching is not required for this business, but it did fast track him. So we had a really good Q4, and then I had my son in January, and he was still doing eBay and Amazon. So I had my son, and I was on a 12-week maternity leave with 4 weeks paid. And so it was a really good opportunity, you know, after you get through the healing process. There were many, many weeks there where it was like, well, now's the chance. Let's try working together on this Amazon business and see if we can replace your income while you don't have an income. And so I would sit there, you know, with a newborn little baby, and he'd bring up all of these just toys, and he'd have little labels like, I've got 3 of these and 5 of this. And I'd sit there and manually enter each one in. And I do that every day. And we not only replaced my income, but we surpassed my income. So we realized that it was a viable option for me to quit my job. So in 2012, in August was the last day I worked. And at that time I was an insurance adjuster, got out of management. Hated sitting in a cube too. Oh, I hated it.
It's the worst.
It is. It was soul sucking. So I quit my job in August of 2012. We really had no idea what would happen at that point. And what did happen is that you took 2 people with laser focus on this one business, and the results just amplified. And we ended up we lived in a much smaller home. We sold it. We moved into, if anyone watches our YouTube channel, you'll get to see that we've moved into a home that basically has a warehouse built into the basement. We built an elevator that goes from the garage down into the basement to help move more product. We've since hired 1 employee, and we have contract help. We've got a couple VAs in training right now. So we've actually gone from this little business where we sold a couple antiques and collectibles on eBay to a business where we're now employing others, providing others with a means to make a living. And that's kind of our story. I know it was very long-winded there, but that's where we came from, and that's where we're at now.
Great. That's awesome. I like hearing everybody's stories. I think that's great. And so now you guys are pretty much focusing on wholesale. Is that right?
So we do a combination of RA, OA, and wholesale. Okay. Mike really enjoys getting out and hitting stores. Mm-hmm. He just genuinely likes doing that. And he's developed a pretty good method of getting deals that others can't, negotiating deals and things like that, and taking a lot of the closeout types of things. I do the OA and the wholesale.
Okay.
He hates sitting at a computer for 8 hours a day. It kills him. So I do that, and I through wholesale, we've learned. So we started in wholesale in 2012. We were like, no, wholesale's great. Let's do it. We found a couple accounts, and we sold some product, and we got burned on a lot of product, making bad decisions. We've had a lot of accounts tell us no. And I'm sure that's what a lot of people are experiencing is brands saying, no, I'm not selling to you. You sell on Amazon.
Right.
So what do you do? And we've developed through the wholesale formula, we've learned a lot of techniques to get accounts that others can't get. Okay. And we can go into a lot more detail there, but I'd say wholesale is about 30% of our business right now.
Okay.
Where RA is still probably around half.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, is it okay if I jump into some questions from the folks?
Go for it, yeah.
So the first one is from Carl, and you get to hopefully meet all these people next meetup. But he was just wondering what the best approach to contacting wholesalers is, and I guess going back to your story there is presenting yourself as an Amazon seller.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a lot of brands don't understand Amazon. I mean, I think we all know that Amazon is a beast unto itself. Mm-hmm. And what you have to do when you approach a wholesaler is you have to add value. So here's what your competition is coming in. Your competition comes in and says, hey, I want to sell your product. I want to sell it on Amazon on an existing listing. And I'm not going to go above and beyond your expectations. I'm just going to buy your stuff and I'm going to sell it on Amazon. So what your competition is telling this brand owner is, I'm going to cannibalize your sales and I'm going to help drive your brand down in value. Because that's ultimately what you do when you buy something and you list it on the existing listing and you don't bring new customers or try to increase price it. If you're not doing anything to help them, you're hurting them. And that's what most people are doing. So what you need to do is have some sort of a value proposition. You need to bring value to them. So what is and this is for everyone to ask themselves, what is your unique skill set that you could offer this brand owner?
Okay.
It could be to think about what they want. They want more customers, and they want to sell more stuff. So they either want they want more traffic, or they want that traffic to convert. In the internet world, we always use traffic and conversions. They want to see more people and they want to sell more stuff. Mm-hmm. So how can you help with one of those two things? Pay-per-click ads, sponsored ads. If you have an audience, if you have a friend with an audience where you can maybe promote their product. If you're good at creating listings, maybe you can tell the brand, hey, your listing looks terrible. That's why people aren't buying it. So you could clean up photos. You could do keyword research. I'm not saying you need to know how to do all of these things today, but these are the skills that are going to help you get accounts. You need to be able to explain Amazon to them in a way that others don't. So one way I like to explain it is that Amazon is the most powerful tool on the internet today to introduce your product to new customers. Mm-hmm. So explaining to them that it's not just about putting it up on Amazon and selling it. Like, how are you going to drive that traffic to them? How are you going to convert those the traffic once it arrives. How are you going to convert that to a sale? And that's going to be through good looking listings, product reviews. If you're using an email autoresponder like a Feedback Genius, use that to get product reviews, legitimate product reviews. So if you're just starting out today and you don't have any of those skill sets, pick a couple and develop them, because you're going to add real value. You're going to build a relationship. And that's what you want in wholesale, is a vendor who wants to work with you and nobody else. Does that all make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Absolutely. And those are some things I never really thought about. I thought, when I think wholesalers, I think guys, sitting in an office just wanting to churn over as many orders as they can.
And that's what they used to want to do. And then what happens is you get 50 people selling on one listing, and then the price goes down. We all know that that's the way the market works. Price goes down, and then people quit placing orders. Their brick and mortar accounts quit placing orders. Their brick and mortar accounts contact their sales reps and say, hey, I can't sell my product. I'm abiding by MAP policy. You've got this thing on Amazon that's out of control. So now brands have this bad taste in their mouth that Amazon is bad. It's a bad place to sell. You have to kind of re-educate your brand owners on why it's not. It can be done wrong. And you can tell them, this is how it's being done wrong, and here's how we would do it differently. Another thing that I recommend, anyone who wants to get into wholesale, you need your own website.
Okay.
Does not matter if you're selling a lot of product on your website, but you need to represent yourself as a brand.
Okay. That's
going to cut through the introduction phase.
Okay. That's a perfect segue into the next question. So John asks, what kind of website do you have? Is it a basic site with wide-ranging products? Is it a niche site?
Okay.
And how many pages and things like that do you need? Or can you just have a home page with your information on it?
Sure. So our website it's not a niche site, but it is geared towards building a healthy lifestyle. So we're not going to have products on there. Like, I'm probably not going to sell candy bars on it, because I'm geared towards more of the healthy living. But in that healthy living niche, I can sell apparel, I can sell shoes, I can sell grocery, I can sell health and beauty, I can sell home goods that all lead towards having a healthy and happy lifestyle. You don't have to have a niche site. You can have a site that is fairly broad. But you want to kind of have things on there. Like, if you're targeting a lot of grocery items, you probably don't want to send them to a site that has a lot of automotive products.
Right.
But you want it to make sense with the accounts that you want to go after. And I always encourage people to start with what they know and what they like. I don't like automotive and tools. I go cross-eyed trying to look at those products. So I just don't do it, because I know myself. I like clothing. I like shoes. I love to eat food. So I like that kind of stuff. So start with what you know and start with what you like, and then build from there. I know some people who are doing very successful, but they have 3 or 4 niche sites that they send out. And obviously they've been doing this for a couple years. So they've built over time. You don't have to climb the mountain today. You just have to get to like summit 1, get to base camp, build one site. When we started, we built our site last summer, and I think I didn't have very many wholesale accounts that fit into the healthy lifestyle that I wanted to put on the site, but we were selling products that we were getting OA or RA. I put them on there. I put them on the site, and I use Wix, W-I-X, who I set my site up through. You can use Squarespace. If you know WordPress, whatever it is that you know. I don't know how to build a site, so I used Wix. And I used YouTube to tell me how to do it, which was really nice. So for a non-techie, it worked well. I had maybe 15 products on the site when I started reaching out to companies. So you don't have to have 100 things on there. Just make it look as clean and nice as possible. And in that introductory email, represent your site. We don't always mention Amazon right away. So we'll say, I represent XYZ company. Here's our site. We've read a lot of great reviews about your products. We think your product would fit, our customer base really well. And we'd like to know about wholesale opportunities with your company. Very straightforward and simple. Here more recently, we've even built a site geared towards brand owners that explains the benefits of working with us on Amazon. And so when we find a company that maybe their listings don't look good, we can reach out to them and say, here's where we sell our products, and here's all the things we do to help you on Amazon as professional Amazon sellers. So we're testing that this year.
Okay.
To see how that works.
I like that.
Trying to be a little bit more transparent and sell the benefits of it versus like, oh, no, don't mention Amazon.
Right.
We hope we don't get caught.
Kind of showing yourself that not only are you an Amazon seller, but you're also maybe a brand consultant who's going to.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So we can offer them multiple approaches. We can sell their product, which is what a lot of brand owners want. They just like that relationship. They don't want to learn a new platform. They just want to sell their products, and then they can develop new products. But some brands want to do it themselves, and we can offer assistance with that as well. And we haven't done a lot of that yet. That, like I said, that's a whole new endeavor that we're finally feeling comfortable enough that we could help.
Okay.
If you're just starting out in wholesale, you're not going to build that separate site where you explain Amazon and all the benefits you can offer, because you don't want a brand to come to you and say, I need you to create 100 listings. And you're like, how do I do that? Start with that website where you sell your products. And make it look as clean and professional as possible.
Okay. Now, just as a question to that website, when you were listing items that you had RA or OA, did you make your website so that it was actually actionable and someone could buy from you if they came up on it?
Yes.
Just basically, merchant fulfill or not merchant, multi-channel fulfilling for Amazon.
Yep. So some of the products that are on there, they're still on there to this day because, let's be honest, I'm kind of lazy about doing a lot of the detail stuff. So there's still some products on there that we don't carry anymore.
Okay.
I've made sure to price everything higher than Amazon, and there's shipping. So by the time they pay for the product and the shipping, if I need to, I can just go to Amazon and buy it and ship it to them.
Right.
It's not. In the last almost year, it's never been an issue.
Okay. Perfect.
So if you don't optimize your website for SEO and you're not out there like marketing it, no one's going to find it.
I just wanted to calm the fears of people who think they're going to get a rush of traffic to a brand new website.
No, it's a very crowded marketplace out there and nobody knows you exist.
No kidding. One of the biggest questions I had it asked maybe 3 or 4 times is, what are the best ways to go out and find wholesalers and distributors to then approach them to create a relationship with you?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a few different schools of thought. Obviously, trade shows, getting in front of someone face-to-face is always going to be the best way to build a relationship. It is not necessary in wholesale, and we don't do it. We've picked up just a few accounts. In Columbus, Ohio, there's a small little gift trade show that we go to a couple times a year. But face-to-face, if you can get into a trade show, that is going to be hands down the best way to build a relationship.
Okay.
If you can't get to a trade show, that's not a deal breaker at all. So you could start with some of the products in your house. We like to go for smaller brands. You're probably not going to get Nestle to give you an account. Right. And even if you do, Amazon's selling all of it. Yeah. So what you want to do is find those smaller brands that are just building their own audience. And in the health industry, there's a lot of that because it's a really hot thing right now. It's all these, everyone wants to be healthy. But you could also look at local. So what are the products in your own town that the people in your town really, really like that you can't get anywhere else?
Mm-hmm.
You could reach out to those. We have an account with a spice that's here in our hometown. They had a restaurant. Now they just do bottled spices. That's like the flavor of the restaurant they used to own. And he has his own audience, and we're his exclusive Amazon seller. We're not getting rich off of selling his spice, but it is a relationship that we've built. And if he ever wants to do other products, he'll come to us to launch those on Amazon. So local things. If you can't get to a trade show, you can still register for the trade show and have access to every vendor that's going to be there. You'll have all of their names, what they do, their contact information, so you can do that as well. Another method is, what are some of your best-selling items right now, to look into your inventory and see what sells really well. And then you can contact that brand and see if you can get approved there. But look down on the Amazon listing for the customers who bought this also bought, and start looking to see what else they bought. Because if you're selling something that you get OA or RA and it sells really well, chances are when you start leafing through all the other things that those customers buy, you might find things there that are selling really well also. And you can reach out to those brands.
That's a great idea.
So just, we like to kind of target the product first and then reach out to the company, rather than find a company and sort through their catalog.
Right.
And when you get into the smaller brands, they typically only have a couple products.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate going through catalogs, because you might find a couple products that work and it takes you 8 hours to get through it all. Where if you can just target that single company where they make 3 products and they have a really loyal following, like that's where I like to go.
Okay.
Some other methods, and this is going to be something that a lot of people don't talk about, but Kickstarter and any of those crowdfunding sites, these are products. And if you're already pretty good at building listings and you feel confident that you can help them, these are products that aren't on Amazon. So there's less competition, there's less people going after them. And if you can get in and say, hey, I really love your product, here's what I do, here's how I'm good at it, here's how I can help you. And I think that if you can reach out to them ahead of the game before a lot of other people find out about them, you could have a relationship for life there.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of ways to find accounts besides going to a trade show.
Okay. That's a good idea. I have a friend who did a Kickstarter for one of his products, and I did that with him without really, just as a friend. So
right.
I thought about going further with that. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a strategy for bundles from your wholesale sources?
So I'm not the best bundler, but we do have a couple pretty successful bundles. So the bundles we do are so there's a line of protein bars that we sell, and they have 8 different flavors. So we buy cases of each and then sell one of each flavor in a bundle. So it's almost like a sample pack. Or if you think of like Paw Patrol, you've got all the characters, bundle them all together into one bundle. That's about as extensive as we get with bundling. We sell some spices where we put a whole bunch of them together and we're like, here's your starter kit for spices. Makes a great housewarming gift or, wedding gift, things like that. I know some people who are really successful creating like Easter bundles, or they do like the Starbucks mug and then they put some different coffees and chocolates and things like that together. And we haven't gone down that road. I just look at, what can I get from this wholesaler? If my customers are already buying this one product, would they be interested in trying more, that I could put all of these things together into one bundle and sell it that way?
Perfect. And you've kind of already answered this question, but is there a category that you find best to sell in using wholesale?
So the hardest ones are going to be clothing and shoes.
Okay.
Number one, you have to have an independent website or they're not even going to give you a time of day. And on a lot of them, you have to have brick and mortar. So clothing and shoes is a little bit different. The easiest to get approved are going to be grocery, health and beauty, and personal care, and home goods. Those are probably the three easiest to get approved. Your grocery and your health and personal care beauty products, the reason it's so easy is most of those companies go through distributors. Distributors, as long as you've got a tax number and a name and a pulse, a lot of distributors are like, yep, we'll sell to you. Unfortunately, because they sell to almost anybody, there's not a lot of profit.
Right.
But still, health and beauty, grocery, those home items, especially the kitchen stuff, you can still get in with those smaller brands and find those more niche products pretty easily. And they don't require brick and mortar. Okay. Where something like clothing, especially shoes. Shoes is a very difficult one. I've not been able to secure a wholesale account with a shoe company. I know some people who have. I have secured a couple clothing deals where we didn't have to have brick and mortar. And they know that we sell on Amazon. We've signed an agreement with them as far as pricing. So those are the companies that are a little bit more savvy about Amazon. They're going to ask a lot more questions.
Absolutely.
You've got to be comfortable with and you've got to be confident in how you explain it to them.
Okay. Do you find that it's that way because those people are selling more of a brand than a commodity where food and things like that is kind of becoming commoditized? I
think so. I think because with clothing and shoes is so competitive. There's especially clothing, there's new clothing brands coming up every minute. And the trends are always changing, and it's just a different industry unto itself. And I think you're right. I think it has to do with they're relying on their brand name holding the value versus this holds value because it tastes good.
Right.
It's why Kanye West can sell like a $600 white t-shirt and you and I can't.
Right.
There's a brand.
Yeah. Do you have a certain amount of wholesalers you try to reach out to as you're growing your business, or do you just kind of go after something when you are interested in it?
When we first started the process of building our wholesale business in the form it is today, we would chunk out time each week and sit down and do research on Amazon for the products, find things that were already selling well, and start looking for additional items that fit our criteria and reach out to those brands. Here more recently, we've had a lot of changes in our business, so we haven't been doing that. I recommend looking at the beginning of your week on Sunday night or whenever your week, look at what you have and say, okay, I'm going to spend 3 hours on Tuesday, from 1 to 4, and I'm shutting down Facebook and I'm shutting down my email, and all I'm going to do is find product. And so the way we would do it is we would find the products, and we have a spreadsheet in Google Docs. And we'd want the ASIN, and we'd want the brand name, and we'd find, we wouldn't even find how to contact them yet. We would just collect that information of here's the product, here's the brand, here's how many sellers, or whatever information you want to collect. And we would just do that. And then when that was done, we'd go through and find the contact information and contact each brand. I find you're more efficient if you kind of batch everything together. Because what happens is if you're looking for a product and then you reach out to the brand, and then you look for a product and you reach out, then suddenly a message comes in on your email, and then you go to answer it. And before you know it, you've gone through 5 products and you've maybe checked your email 52 times.
Right.
So just sit down and go through, like for us, it was just go through Amazon and find potential products. And one thing we always did was use Jungle Scout. So something that tells us what those monthly sales are. And then we can look and see how many competitive sellers there are. And by competitive, who are the sellers that can actually, like, they're priced to sell. You're not going to count the guy who's priced $50 higher.
Right.
So who's actually competitive, how many are selling per month, and kind of divide that out so that you can see how many you would be able to sell per month. And then you can decide, like for us, we want accounts that we can sell 30 a month. Our friends they only want accounts that they can sell 100 a month. So depending on what you want, I don't want to sign up for an account where it looks like I can sell 2 items each month. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay. And so you do feel that Jungle Scout is a really valuable tool?
I use Jungle Scout Pro and I use it daily.
Okay.
I use it daily. I find it to be pretty accurate. It's actually the longer I use it, the more I think it's even on the conservative side, which is good. So when I use it, if it says 380 sales a month, I even round that down to like 350.
Okay.
I'm a little bit less, I guess, risk tolerant than a lot of people. I don't like to get stuck with inventory. And I only order what I think I can sell in a 30-day time frame.
Okay.
And when I'm first ordering, I even try just to test out maybe a case. Unless I really think it's going to be a slam dunk, I might just order a small amount, see if that sell-through rate is correct. But I love Jungle Scout Pro. And I love it because the FBA calculator is built right into it. So I don't have to toggle back and forth. And it's a one-time fee. It's not a monthly fee. There is a free program called Unicorn Smasher, which is basically Jungle Scout with a unicorn. And I haven't used it. I've heard it's even more conservative than Jungle Scout. So
I'm going to make myself a quick note here and just go check a few of these things out. I really enjoy the Jungle Scout estimator tool that they have that's free. I haven't used their pro version yet, but I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, it's just so easy to click a button and you can just sort everything that's on the page and be like, oh, I want to look at that product. Because if it doesn't sell enough, or the rank isn't right, I just don't want to do it. I want to sell. I like to move volume. And I think when you're in the wholesale game, because the margins get a lot thinner, you have to move volume to make up for it. So you're looking more at the Walmart and Amazon model versus the eBay model of getting that high ROI.
Absolutely. Now, and I know that this can vary based on what you're going after and the deals that you can make yourself, but what kind of margins should somebody expect? I mean, are we talking 5%, or are we talking?
I think 30%, 20 to 30% is a more realistic expectation. We aim for 50. That's our aim. We're always trying to find the thing we can get that 50% return on. That's hard to find in wholesale, especially if you're in health and beauty and grocery. The smaller the item gets, the easier it is to prep, the lower the margin will take. We've got some accounts that we're earning about 15% margin on, but the only thing we have to do is slap a label on it and it sells.
Absolutely.
The more prep there is involved, the more margin that we're going to expect. But 20 to 30%, I think, is pretty realistic starting out. The bigger you get when you cross that $1 million threshold of annual sales, we've got friends doing, I think they did 4 million last year.
Wow.
They're the wholesale formula guys. They taught us everything that I know now about wholesale. I've learned from them. They were doing like 400,000 and then they jumped to 4 million. And I think they're on pace to do about 10 million this year.
Wow.
They're very, very smart guys down in Kentucky. If you get a chance to meet them and talk to them, pick their brains. They're super, super smart. But I think their margins at that 4 million mark are probably getting closer to that 10 to 15%.
Sure.
And a lot of people say, oh, well, that's, not that much money. Well, if we look at 4 million and they make 10% profit, that's $400,000. And I don't know anyone who would turn their nose up to that kind of money. So
might be all right. That'll pay the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you, I would imagine, of course, everybody has this, but do you see a static percentage of wholesalers that turn you down because you're an Amazon seller, or are you able to jump those hurdles?
So there are still people who are like, no. And we had this great account. We were selling coffee and a bunch of other products from them. And I was placing $3,000 orders like every 10 to 14 days. We had just signed up with them. And so I was testing. And I was realizing like, no, I'm going to need to start ordering like 10 grand a month from them just to even be able to stay in stock. This stuff was selling fast. We were making, like on a single coffee that we'd put a label on, we were making like $10 a piece on them. Yeah. Like insane.
Like a dream account.
Exactly. And it was a dream account until that first month, about 6 weeks in, they were like, hey guys, y'all are great. We're not doing Amazon anymore. And I could not crack through that wall. I've learned a lot since then in how to talk to a wholesaler and how to explain Amazon. So I need to go back to them, see how they're doing. I think they wanted to sell on Amazon themselves.
Okay.
They were, a startup company, a lot of young millennial type people, a lot of energy in that company. So that's the type of company that probably wants to do it themselves. So I need to reach out and see if I can help them in any other way. But what it comes down to is if you can add value and if you're willing to get on the phone with them and actually talk to them, you'll get a lot more yeses.
Okay.
You have to, and I'm an introvert by nature. A lot of people don't realize that because I'll get up on stage and talk to 100 people, but at the end of a conference, like I shut down and I need to like crawl back inside myself for a while. But getting on the phone is intimidating. It intimidates me to no end to call a wholesaler and be like, hey, I want to sell your stuff.
Right.
But if you're willing to do that, 90% of the other people won't. So you're already ahead of the game. And when you actually talk to someone, you can build that relationship. You're human. They can hear you. They can hear tone. You can connect on something. You'll pick up little tidbits where, they might be an Ohio State fan. They may, oh, you're from Columbus. Okay, I used to live so-and-so. You can connect on a different level that way. Okay. And your competition's not willing to do it.
I like it. That's most of the questions I have. So, and I try to ask this of everybody who grants me some face time. What questions should I be asking that I haven't asked?
I'm just looking through. I had a whole bunch of notes here in case I needed them. And we covered a lot of it. I don't know if there's any questions that need to be asked because we covered everything in my notes. So I just want to reiterate, it's all about being better. When we started on Amazon in 2011, you could walk into any Walmart, any Kmart, and there was just gold sitting on the shelves. Almost any product you picked up, there was just money to be made. Anyone you contacted about wholesale was like, sure, I'll sell you product. Nobody knew. Like there was no competition, but there's a lot of competition now. This is 5 years later, and it's only going to get more competitive. Mm-hmm. So now is the time to set yourself apart and start learning and developing those skills to make you better. So if you don't know how to run a pay-per-click ad on Amazon, do it. Go to YouTube and type in, how do I run a pay-per-click ad on it? Like pay-per-click Amazon, sponsored ad, Amazon. Type that into Google, type it into YouTube. There's some video out there that'll walk you through the process. And you can set up a little small budget so that you're not spending $500 a month. You can spend $15 and still get an idea of how things work. Mm-hmm. If you don't know how to make a listing, learn, experiment, figure out how to do it. And if you have more money than time, find someone who can do it for you so that you can go to these brands and offer value. What is coming on Amazon? What we've learned about Amazon, they have a mission. They have a new goal that they're trying to achieve, and that is to get brands to sell their own products or to have an authorized representative. They want all the brands on Amazon.
Right.
So they needed third-party sellers to go out and get all those obscure items, the store exclusives, and to keep things in stock. And we're doing a really, really good job of that. And now what they need are these little local brands. And by local, I don't necessarily mean local to you or local to me. Local is anywhere. We're on the internet. So you can find what's local in anywhere on the planet and bring that to Amazon. They need that now. And so they're piloting a program to reach out and onboard brand owners. And Mike and I have been helping a little bit with that. So if we get a brand owner who wants to sell their own product, we can send them to Amazon, and Amazon will give them an account rep to help them set up their account, get product, category approvals. So when we realized that that's what Amazon was trying to do, it was kind of eye-opening to us, like, oh, that's who they want to do business with next. And we need to help with that.
Absolutely.
Any chance you get to align yourself with Amazon's mission, the better your business can be. And that's where they want to go next.
Okay. It seems to go where the money goes, so we should probably follow him as much as possible.
Right. So, yeah, if Amazon wants brand owners, get out there and talk to brand owners. Bring brands to Amazon. And so if you don't know how to do that today, put it on your list of things to learn. Earlier this year, I followed John Lawson a lot on Facebook, and I've met him in person and had he's so smart. And it was around January, so it was around the time that New Year's resolutions come out. And he was like, I don't really do a resolution, but I always pick one skill that I'm going to learn in the next 12 months. And he's like, and I make sure by the end of 12 months, I learn that skill. He goes, I started this 15 years ago, and now I have 15 skills that I know very well that I can then build a business upon, offer services to others. You become better that way. So pick one or two of those skills that would help you secure accounts and learn them. Learn how to talk about them. Be confident. And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So there's a new brand being born right now. Someone out there in America has a product and they're building their brand right now. So there's never going to be an oversaturation of us trying to help brands, because there's always new brands, there's always new ideas, and there's not enough of us willing to go out and help them.
Right.
So there's a huge opportunity that we see coming, and it's what Amazon wants. Give Amazon what it wants.
Absolutely. Before we go, I know that this year, was it this year or last year, you guys started doing some coaching and things like that?
We've done some coaching for about 4 months.
Okay.
And we actually just this week decided, while we love helping business owners, and we love talking about business, paid coaching isn't necessarily the business model that we want to do. So we've kind of we have a couple clients we're still working with, but we've kind of taken it down just due to time constraints and things like that. But definitely, like, you can follow us on YouTube, and we're putting out lots of free videos there. Mike's going to be launching some different educational content. He's hiring someone to do all his RA sourcing for him.
Oh, that's great.
They're going to start next month. And so there's going to be a lot of YouTube videos about their adventures and what they're doing. But yeah, we're not doing any paid coaching anymore, because it was actually more enjoyable just to talk to people.
Absolutely.
Not take money.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Well, great. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know we're coming up on, we're getting close to an hour, and so I want to keep it so everybody will actually watch the video.
Right.
Do you want to share a website or how to find you on YouTube, that kind of thing, what your YouTube username is? Absolutely.
So on YouTube, we're just Mike and Britni Ross. And our website is mikeandbritniross.com. And I'm also on Facebook, and Mike's on Facebook. So reach out and become friends there, and I share videos. And then the other thing that I do that Mike has no part of, because he doesn't like clothing and shoes, but I'm a partner with Your Sourced Inventory, and we offer, we have a free Facebook group. Your Sourced Inventory is what it's called. And we do a paid clothing and shoe lead list. Monday through Friday, in just the clothing and shoe categories. And I do recommend, before anyone gets into those categories and really starts spending significant money, that they join our Facebook group, because we educate you. Those categories are, they're not so cut and dry. So you can buy a shoe with 1,000 rank and think like, yay, this is going to sell fast. And then 4 months later, you still have that shoe and you're like, what did I do wrong?
Because there's 50 variations.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So there's a lot to learn about those categories. And what we do in our Facebook group is we share a lead and then we explain why or why not to buy it.
Okay.
That's and the different, we try to teach the process versus just hand you leads and let you go.
Okay.
The process is where you'll make money.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna share this video on my YouTube channel as well, and I'm gonna put links to your Facebook and your sourced inventory and your guys' website.
Awesome.
And also in the group that you're in, our local FBA group. Yeah. So hopefully everybody will reach out, and if you guys have any questions, make sure to ask them below here. And would you mind taking a little bit of time over the next?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I really appreciate you taking the time out for us, and I hope to see you at the end of next month in Columbus.
I will be there.
All right. Thank you so much.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.